Thou art a hen amongst wolves.
Bosun, heave the log! Oh, all the way! Pull off there, yeah!
Pirate healthcare. With disease in the Caribbean an ever-present danger, pirates did whatever they could think of to combat disease. They would swab the decks with vinegar and salt, sometimes even brandy, thinking this would kill germs. Sailors would fumigate below decks with pans of burning brimstone. But with no way to keep ships from accumulating filth and garbage, the hulls became a dank breeding ground for rats, cockroaches, and other carriers of disease. Pirate healthcare.
We don't see anybody to attack, Captain! We don't see anybody to attack, Captain!
Oh, all the way for the windy weather. All Beavers on the ether, and the water is 6 feet in her hold, and it's time for us to leave her.
Crow's Nest reports a ship sighting, Captain!
Fast as we can, Captain!
Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain! Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain! the ship!
Aye, sir.
Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain!
We're bound for there.
Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain!
We'll haul away, go.
Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain!
Capstan. The capstan is a large man-powered winch used to raise the anchor. The anchors were often so heavy that it took the whole crew working together on the capstan to raise the anchor, a process which would often take hours. In cases of extreme emergency, such as surprise attack, it was often necessary to cut loose the anchor. Mast. The masts are strong vertical wooden poles, or spars, fashioned from tree trunks that support the sails and all the rigging above deck. Gun port. A gun port is a square hole with a watertight lid cut into the hull of a ship. During battle, the lids would be raised and the cannons aimed out the gun ports. Normally, gun ports were kept closed to stop the sea from splashing through. Anchor. The anchor is a large, heavy piece of iron with two long curved ends called flukes. The anchor can be lowered from the ship to the ocean floor to secure the ship from drifting. Mast. Hull. The hull is the body or shell of the ship. Belaying pin. Belaying pins are wooden cylinders, a little over a foot long, around which sailors secured or belayed lines. In battle, belaying pins made handy clubs. Musicians. Some of the more popular members of a pirate crew were the musicians. Not only would musicians delight their fellow crewmen by playing music during meals or times of boredom, but they would also play aggressive music when in battle to intimidate their enemies.
Ship not yet in range, Captain!
Help me, Bob, I'm bullying me out. Hey, bullying me out. Help me, Bob, I'm bullying me out. Bully got a chin bone out. Bosun! Heave the log!
Thou art a hen amongst wolves.
Oh, all the way for the windy.
Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain!
Bosun!
Enemy
heave the
ship not
log.
yet in range, Captain!
Smartly now! Get up there! Heave the log, aye, sir! Help me, Bob, I'm bullying me out. Hey, bullying me out. Help me, Bob, I'm bullying me out. Bully down and Chimbo now. Put a wind in it. Steady as she goes, aye, sir.
Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain! Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain! Let me bring you up to date, Captain! The ship's out of range, Captain!
Bosun, heave the log. Smartly now. Get up there.
Here's my report, Captain!
Aye, sir.
Well, didn't anyone ever warn you of the dangers of lurking around strange towns? Yeah, you could get killed, or even robbed.
I've seen some strange rogues lurking about. Best be careful, my friend, and always prepared for a fight. And you, mate, how about a drink? A pint of grog and then some for yous?
Stay away from that building down the lane. You never know what kind of trouble you'll meet.
This port has seen many riches, much treasure. Of course, this is all for the glory of Spain. Still, Cartagena is a good town to be el gobernador, the governor. I cannot complain.
Cartagena. Cartagena was one of Spain's main ports for shipping New World riches back to Spain. Spanish vessels would stop in Cartagena to bring supplies from Europe to the Spanish colonists and to load up with emeralds, gold, pearls, tobacco and coffee. From Cartagena, the Spanish fleet would then proceed on to Portobello.
Load your ship with gold and cargo. Without your food, you'll not too far go. Forget your water, that's the worst. Your sorry life will end of thirst. Load your ship with...
And welcome to you, good captain. 'Tis a fine day it is for trading. What have you to trade? Put an offer on the table. I'll see what I can do for you. I tell you, honest work's a bear, huh? It's a deal. Pleasure doing business with you, Captain. Wait! Come! Bah! Go!
You'll be staying with us a while, will you? What a pleasant surprise! I think you'll find the company quite stimulating.
The top bunk is mine.
Was that one did it?
I'm going to have to request you steps around the corner. I don't want to make a mess of you in front of the lady.
The sack of Cartagena. In 1697, France had been at war with England, Holland and Spain for almost 10 years. As part of the war effort, French pirates from Saint-Domingue were enlisted as privateers to join French naval forces in attacking the Spanish port of Cartagena. French Admiral Jean-Bernard Desjans, Baron de Pointis, promised the pirates' leader, Jean Ducasse, that the pirates would share in the loot. But after the savage battle, in which the French seized a fortune in gold and silver, de Pointis refused to share his spoils with the pirates, and sailed off with the treasure in his naval ships. Ducasse tried to convince his buccaneers that he would appeal to the French crown for their payment, but a number of pirate captains were skeptical of his promise, and so decided to raid the town again, torturing and murdering the townspeople until they yielded yet another fortune in treasure. The raid on Cartagena was the last time that a joint force of pirates raided a town and sailed off with such immense treasure.
Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain! Here's my report, Captain! Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain! Enemy ship not yet in range, Captain!
Steady as she goes, aye, sir.
The ship's out of range, Captain! We don't see anybody to attack, Captain! Here's the situation, Captain.
Aye, sir.
Ship maintenance. Sailors had to perform regular maintenance on their ship to ensure that it was seaworthy enough to withstand an ocean voyage. Common maintenance included a wide variety of small repairs to the ship, sails, rigging, weapons and other fixtures, as well as the regular careening. The process of careening involved grounding one's sailboat on a beach or sandbar so that when the tide went out, the boat could be hauled over on its side, exposing the bottom for repairs. It was essential that this process was repeated with regularity, as the destructive teredo worm, which thrives in the warm water of the Caribbean, would otherwise bore holes in the hull. Also, barnacles grew on ships' bottoms, making ships sail more slowly. Effective maintenance required breaming and scraping. Breaming was accomplished by building a brush fire against the hull, which heated the ship's planks to the point where the teredo worms were killed. Once breamed, the barnacles and other marine growth were scraped from the hull. Extreme care had to be taken when breaming to prevent catching the ship on fire. Also, the smoke from such a fire would often be visible for a great distance and could alert one's enemies to one's hiding place. Once breamed and scraped, the hulls were then treated with a mixture of tar, tallow and sulphur to protect the wood as best as possible until the next time the ship had to be careened. Pirates careened their boats often so as to maximize their speed.
We don't see anybody to attack, Captain!
Bosun, heave the log.
We don't see anybody to attack, Captain!
Now. Get up there! And the water is 6 feet in her hold, and it's time for us to leave her.
Weather in the Caribbean. As the water of the Caribbean is warm throughout the year, the climate of the region is consistently temperate and humid. Temperatures average around 80 degrees Fahrenheit, with little fluctuation between the warmest and coolest months on many of the islands.
You having a prayer meeting? Steady as she goes, aye, sir.
Here's the situation, Captain.
Aye, sir.